It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for November 2022. So on November 23rd, we have our new moon in Sagittarius. This is taking place at 1 degree, 38 minutes, which suggests, for a lot of reasons, why this is an absolute fresh, clean slate. Now, I want to talk about this for just a second and keep in mind that this particular event is going to peak at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, of course, typically speaking, a new moon is always a clean slate, a fresh beginning, if you will, because we get the chance to kind of sit in the darkness in order to acknowledge what it is that's working, what it is that isn't, what we want to move away from, what it is that we want to create. And of course, when we focus on the things that we want to usher into our lives, we plant the seeds of intention. So that is a normal, typical new moon cycle. The fact that this is the first new moon taking place after eclipse season, so we're essentially closing the door on eclipse season, means that this is our initiator. This is our, I'm going to say, igniter, if you will. And having this take place in Sag energy, a fire energy, is definitely positioning us to make that fire burn bright. Now, the other reason why this is a fresh, clean slate for us is because this time last year, our new moon in Sag was actually a solar eclipse. If I rewind you for a second and go back to 2020, when the Great Awakening actually got triggered and activated for the collective, the true nodes of the moon were on the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, which means that we had our solar eclipses and our lunar eclipses in that Gemini and Sagittarius energy. The whole life lesson that began back in 2020 that took us into 2021 when the nodes of the moon changed into this Taurus and Scorpio life lesson that we've been living through, the whole axis was about information and beliefs. Gemini energy, information. Sagittarius energy, beliefs. So we've had quite a time with this Sagittarius energy. And if we rewind to this time last year, we would have just entered into our first eclipse energy with the Taurus energy, with the Scorpio energy, and we closed out the Gemini and Sagittarius energy. So this is, I'm going to say, the normal new moon phase that we could expect. But in Sag energy, it's kind of interesting because Sag energy is the light at the end of the very dark tunnel that we just walked through, especially with eclipse season, especially with Scorpio season. And the fact that this new moon in Sag is positioned between closing the door on eclipse season and the solstice energy that we're about to jump into in December, this is the initiator. This is the beginning. This is the spark, the fire, the flame that we need to kind of watch grow to burn away the old cords, the old pain, the old trauma, the old energy. What's beautiful is that we were just fully saturated in the depths of our soul, the dark night of the soul, if you will, in Scorpio energy and in eclipse energy. So we dive into this fire energy. We follow the light. We only seen the light of Sagittarius energy because we sat in the darkness of Scorpio. And this fire energy is drying us off. And in the attempt to dry us off and return us to a dry state, fire energy burns off all the old stagnant energy, the old cords, the old pain, the old trauma. So this is a clean slate. And at 1 degree, you best believe that we are setting the tone for the next 2.5 year cycle. And when we're looking at what it is that we are focused on, what it is that we are initiating, what it is that we're beginning, we have to take a look at what Sag energy actually rules over, which is beliefs, higher beliefs, our intuition, our spiritual beliefs, our philosophical beliefs, our religious beliefs, if you will. It's a higher state of learning, of observing the mundane tasks and chores that we just got sucked into, that we didn't even realize put us on autopilot and in zombie mode in our existence. Sagittarius energy wants us to dream bigger, wants us to see the possibilities. It wants us to align with a new truth, a new passion, a new path, a new direction. It wants us to see the possibilities that are growing for us on the greater, grander horizon now that we have a new, fresh slate, now that we have a new lease on life, now that we have a new perspective, now that we have a new understanding. So it is about trying to identify where our energy, our attention needs to be poured into a brand new path, interest, or direction. And a lot of this is becoming, I'm going to say, an exciting adventure because we just crawled our asses out of a very dark pit. And for many of us, it has been very challenging. And for many of us, it has changed our beliefs within ourselves, within the people that we choose to share our lives with, within the greater, grander plan of the cosmos and the universe. So things have shifted. And with a mutable sign, it means that when we are presented with information, details that challenge our old beliefs, we are able to open our minds up, because again, Sagittarius energy just wants us to push the boundaries of what it is that we believe in and really just be a little bit more open to seeing what lays past the confines of where our belief system was set in stone. So we also have to consider here that Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, and abundance, rules over Sag energy. Jupiter is a magnifier, and he likes to turn the volume all the way up on what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling. He illuminates for us where it is that we can pluck the silver linings out of some of the not so nice situations that we just had to live through in order to grow. We have to grow through what it is that we go through. It's also challenging us to open up our head space and open up our heart space. It's all about expansion. Where can we expand our thoughts, our ideas? Where can we expand our heart space to be a little bit more open and raw and vulnerable? The Jupiter energy is super important. Plays a couple of different roles in this particular new moon. First of all, it's its ruler, so that we got that going for us, right? Brings a lot of positivity, a lot of optimism, a lot of confidence back. It's restoring our faith. It's restoring our trust. It's restoring our life force energy. It's also making a trine in this particular moon event, right? So we have Jupiter at 28 degrees in Pisces, currently retrograde underneath the new moon when it goes direct, sitting only a couple of degrees away from Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. So these guys are teaming up and trining, which is a beautiful energy, harmonizing with the sun and the moon, both in the Sag energy. So that is a key factor. The third and final key factor of why Jupiter is so important to kind of observe under this new moon is because just hours after we have this new moon Sag peak in its most potent energy, Jupiter, who is at the final degrees of Pisces in a retrograde, is about to go direct. So this is pretty profound for a lot of reasons. It screams growth, it screams expansion, it screams opportunity to move forward in some very big and bold ways. We are not mad at this particular aspect. We are not mad at this particular energy. So what we need to focus on as we are kind of moving through the build-up, keep in mind that we're still in eclipse energy up until the new moon in Sag. And when we close the door on that eclipse energy, it is going to feel like some of the pain, some of the trauma, some of the struggle was a lifetime ago, was a dream ago, if you will, which isn't a bad thing. We need that. We need that clean slate. We need that revitalizing energy. We need to feel regenerative. Again, those are topics and themes that Scorpio energy, Scorpio season brought us to at the final degrees. That was our rebirth story. That was our resurrection story. And now, standing in the light of Sagittarius, the fire energy of Sagittarius, we are feeling simply reborn. So this is going to be like a breath of fresh air. Okay, this is going to be a trigger, an activation in all the right ways for our spark, for our flame, for our fire to be reignited within us. This is a chance for us to breathe again. And I know for many of us, we've just been in survival mode, just trying to go with the flow and do what we can. But many of us are shallow breathers. And because of that, we're not bringing that life force energy into our bodies. We've been lacking life force energy, and the Sagittarius energy is here to bring that breath work back and bring that energy back where we are feeling a little bit more like ourselves and a little bit more like we are ready to tackle life once again. So keep in mind that the Sag energy is about our beliefs, and it starts with the beliefs within ourselves. It's also about our hopes, our dreams, our wishes. And yes, we can bite off more than we can chew under Sag energy, especially under this new moon. We might write down a whole list of intentions that are just so far-fetched that they might not even be achievable or attainable. But I don't want you to limit yourself at that particular point in time. I want you to ride the wave of positivity, of confidence, of optimism, on believing that anything is possible, because it is. And we will get the chance to kind of refine those big dreams, those big ideas when we move into Capricorn energy. But we're not there yet. We're not even close to being there yet. We want to savor every single exciting moment, every single silver lining, every single spark and flame of excitement and life force energy in this Sagittarius season and under this new moon. So, I mean, this is typically what we consider a reset. And it's a reset in all the right ways because, again, we're closing the door on eclipse season. So we are essentially getting back into the driver's seat of our own lives. We were at the mercy of our higher selves in the universe through the eclipse energy. And now we're ready to take the wheel back. There's nothing wrong with that. What we're going to struggle with is where we're driving to, because Sag energy, it's represented by the archer. We typically speaking need to have a set goal, a set target in order for us to pull back on that bow and arrow and let that bow go. And that is one of the downfalls. That is one of what I'm going to say the focuses of this new moon energy, is that it's going to be hard to focus because we're excited about a lot. We're interested in a lot. We don't really know what our focus, what our target is. So we are going to have a struggle in trying to keep the blinders on in order to actually tackle one target, one goal. At the same time, having ants in your pants after feeling like you were dead is not a bad thing. Having extra energy when we've been lacking energy for so long is not a bad thing. And this is why I'm saying, just realize that we have a tendency to be overexcitable and overly dramatic and overly emotional. And we tend to overcommit and bite off more than we can chew and be a little bit extra. I'm just one of those believers to say that, hey, listen, we've been sitting in scarcity and deprivation for so long, never thinking that we would feel good again. It can't be a bad thing to kind of run with it, right? We will get our chance to come back down to reality in Capricorn energy, but we're not there yet. I say run with it. I say grasp whatever silver lining you can. I say grasp whatever can make you happy and make something feel like it is worth doing. I say hold on to that because we haven't been in that position for a very, very long time. The fact that Jupiter is a positive energy, a opportunistic energy that gives us rewards and blessings after our hardships, this has got to be a pivotal point of change. And Jupiter going direct just hours after this new moon peaks in Pisces energy, this is restorative. This is filling our cup back up. This is triggering our, new truth, our belief system, our creativity, our dreams, our intuition on such a great level. And it is acting as the fuel to the Sagittarius fire that we need right now in order to actually like revitalize ourselves, realign ourselves, recalibrate ourselves, and prepare ourselves to make up for some lost time. You know, the Jupiter energy, the Sagittarius energy, because it is about the higher education, the higher self, the higher perspective, we are definitely starting to see the things that we just went through from a different lens, from a different set of eyes. And having that understanding and kind of piecing together the bigger, broader picture here, it just kind of fuels the fire that we need to restore our faith, to restore our hope, to align with new dreams, and to get this party started. So, as we move through the new moon, keep in mind that a new moon is a dark moon. There's no light, there's no illumination in the sky. That's why, you know, new moons tend to feel a little bit dark, a little bit heavy. But guess what? Compared to what it is that we've been sitting in Scorpio season and in eclipse season, this is just a walk in the park. But the new moon or the dark moon provides us with a time to move inward, to really reflect, to get realigned with what it is that's important, and really kind of sets us up for projecting ourselves on a new path, on a new direction, on a new quest, on a new adventure. And we're able to kind of hit the ground running in a way that we haven't been able to do for a very, very long time. This is about recognizing the challenge that we just went through, the obstacles that we just faced, this absolute dark night of the soul that many of us didn't think we would ever get through. And this is having a new attitude of gratitude for those experiences, because we learned a lot about ourselves. We learned a lot about our role, our responsibility, the people in our lives, our strength, our resiliency, our perseverance, what it is that actually means something to us, this realization of what it is that we've outgrown, and this realization of what it is that we now are being activated to pursue. This is a changing time. Things are changing. Mutable energy. We change with mutable energy. And we've had a tough go. So it's only natural that, of course, we're changing things up based off of this new lease on life. So if you haven't downloaded your moon guide yet, you should probably do that. This is a very pivotal time to actually focus on the good instead of kind of focusing on the bad. I know a lot of the shadow work that we do in those moon guides are focused on the not so nice thoughts and feelings, because that's what shadow work is. But this is a game changer. This is a little bit of, I'm going to say, one of the more positive moon guides that we have been able to kind of have assist us navigating these particular energies. And what I love about it is that this is a fire dominant elemental energy event, and we haven't had fire in a very long time. If you're a moon guide subscriber and been actively doing the moon guides each and every single month, you would know that we have been in a constant state of earth dominant events and water dominant events. Earth, physical changes; water, spiritual, emotional changes. We have been absolutely rocked over this past year with earth and water. And yes, sometimes we see growth, but we see a lot of erosion, a lot of damage, a lot of destruction that we have to grow from with earth and water elements. With 4 elements in fire this time around, this is the most fire we've had in like ages, to be honest with you. We have a supporting role of earth, and then we have equal distribution of support between water and air. So we have this initiator, this spark, this fire, this flame, this passion, this excitement, this new lease on life from the fire energy, burning away all of the old that we just went through. Then we have the support, the foundation of earth, the changes that we've already made in this physical realm, whether they were our changes to make or changes that were forced upon us. We have a new lease on life. We are literally molding our physical realities to align with our new belief system, our new wants, needs, desires, dreams, hopes, and wishes from this fire energy. And then, of course, the air energy is our mental plane. It's new thoughts, it's new ideas, it's new ways of expressing ourselves, mixed with the equal water element. That's our emotions, that's our intuition. That is the amount of healing work that we've done to get to this point where we're able to cut the cords of the past and give ourselves a new lease on life to move forward. So I sincerely hope that you are interested enough in your own healing journey to go ahead and to make sure that you're doing a deep dive in these moon guides. We have a lot of very positive aspects working with us this moon event. Of course, I just talked about Jupiter's placement in all of this, but we have Pluto and Mars, the god of the underworld and the god of war. Mars, of course, is retrograde. That's not going to hinder this positive energy of us making a true transformation by choosing one path, one decision, one direction over the other. For many, many months now, we've been divided on what it is that we should be doing. This particular energy is triggering, activating what it is that we now know we have to do. Yes, of course, there are some negative aspects, as there always are. The negative aspects really aren't that negative because they create the kind of tension, the kind of conflict, the kind of upset that we need in order to bring the attention to what needs to change. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is squaring off with Uranus, the Great Awakener, and the True Node, which is really going to put a different perspective on how much, I'm going to say, progress we're actually able to make under this new moon. I think that Neptune and Jupiter squaring off with Mars is definitely going to put us at odds with our dreams versus our ideas. Again, our ideas are somewhat shaped by our egoic intellect, where our dreams are inspired and divinely scripted by our higher selves and our intuition. And we have Neptune and Jupiter semi-squaring with Uranus and the True Node, which is definitely going to show us where there's friction, where there's a conflict, where we are essentially blocking ourselves from aligning with the new path, with the new passion, with the new adventure that is kind of being presented for us. There are some doubts and fears and insecurities of going after our dreams, and that is going to be highlighted as well. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you find the moon guide helpful. I hope that you realize where these particular events are taking place in your life. If you have no clue how to figure that out, you can check out a video that I have on the What the Fact playlist about how to identify where moon events are taking place in your birth chart. And there's a whole lot of information out there in order for you to be able to really stay ahead of this energy, to align with this energy, and to make this energy work for you instead of have it work against you. So with that being said, I hope you have a beautiful new moon in Sagittarius. I hope that the fire not only dries you off and burns away all of those old cords and old stagnant energy connections, but I hope that it ignites a new passion, a new desire, a new fire, a new flame within you that you absolutely 100% lean into and run with.